Sure.
Wait it out, no worries.
Put us in, huh?
Oh, no, it's always been there. In the last year. Are we starting? We started. Okay. But anyway, that's the, that would be for the irrigation part. That got it. And then, wait, I find it right here. This is us, right, way maintenance, that's the tree roots, planting trees. So we got. So we
This
just
is-
have to do it their way, which is,
Yeah, going before making a proposal. So this is for the next year, for the 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
this is the proposed budget, has to sit in the state,
Yeah.
the state has to clear. it.
Okay.
Anything can happen.
Okay, sure.
But that's tentative, that hasn't been a problem.
Okay, good. So this 30,000 is for the trees that are right
Well,
away.
that would be like the park, and
Well, the right away is all the trees in the line the streets, and
Yeah.
because they're town they're town owned, but owner responsibilities. Yeah, so I think that would be like, you know, the ones that have been marked as risk, you know. trying to-
As risk, yes.
risk.
well, there's that, and that would get some trees planted, part two. So that's, probably. What I would do is just set trees you wanna plant, turn it and just do what they
Yeah,
want,
well, we get that irrigation, we gotta figure out the watering before we can plant. So we've lost them, right? So we wanna make sure that that piece is.
And we wanna make sure the trees where we wanna plant is copacetic with the irrigation system.
Yeah, exactly. So is that irrigation system in process or is it bids?
There's like work done, you can't spend the money until this gets approved by the
Gotcha,
state.
gotcha. So that
That's how
would
it
be
works.
next summer kind of thing, next spring for the irrigation?
Well,
If all goes
it
well?
hasn't been an issue in the past, usually it gets,
Yeah,
as I speak, something.
yeah, sure. Knock on. Yeah, right.
Don't jinx it.
It hasn't been an issue.
Yeah.
Right.
But if all goes, then next spring, summer would be the,
Sure,
yeah.
I'm sure the legwork's already started on that.
Okay. Okay, good deal. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, do you wanna read that? This is, are you done with that?
Yeah, and I'll read that.
That's an Elms
Yeah,
rebuttal.
great. All right. So meeting to order, 5:32. Let's take roll here. Lisa?
Chair Pottenger,
Here.
Vice Chair Newland. Secretary Patterson. Board Member Short,
Here,
Board Member Wells. Here. And Board Representative Heck.
Here,
You have a quorum.
Showing up. Let's have the quorum here. Christina's today. All right, so let's take a moment to review, we don't have any packet there, but let's,
It was emailed to you last week.
yeah, gotcha. Let's take a moment to review the agenda for tonight. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, nays. Motion has been approved to move forward with tonight's agenda. So let's move to. Let's just get right into our actions.
We have approval of the meeting minutes from September 16th.
Yep, on the have the minutes with us, so. You just skip the approval of the minutes, we'll have to send those out and catch up on that.
They were in the packet.
Yep. Yeah, I got you. Do you send them out to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you guys have a chance to look at them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can look at it real quick. Skipping.
We make a motion to, are we allowed to make a motion to skip the minutes? Is that what we're doing? Okay,
Since you approved the agenda,
Yeah, let's make a motion to skip item C, meeting minutes for the moment. We'll skip that for tonight's meeting. All in favor?
need a second?
I second motion.
Okay. Favor?
I,
Okay, great. All right, moving on to item D, actions and presentations. Public comment, no public speaking here. Let's move on to item number 1. So this is really going to be the essence of our conversation tonight. So Tom, I just wanted to open, if you wanted to share any thoughts that you had here in this item, which is we were talking about briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah, why don't you kick it off? And Mark sent along some points I can share.
And you guys had a conversation outside this meeting,
Yeah, 2 of us can have a conversation, right?
but then you just said Mark also shared his point.
No, he sent me a separate email.
Right.
So,
I guess, guess after that article that was in the paper a couple of weeks ago, Greg and I discussed, or kind of talked about what we needed to do. And I think we discussed this before in the future, or the last couple of meetings, was to put together a presentation, a formal presentation for the trustees that could give at a meeting, one of the trustee meeting, short presentation just to go over our successes and failures, the value of the urban forest that we have here, and just to give the trustees a little more knowledge on the urban forest and its canopy and the effects that it provides and the benefits that urban forest provides to our community. And then maybe set up, then to follow it up with maybe some goals or new goals of maybe programs to push tree planting and that sort of stuff forward, whether it's not only on city-owned or town-owned properties, but also on private properties, and to encourage homeowners to think about the importance of planting new trees and replacing the trees that have been moved, because not only is the town faced with overall our urban forest and our canopy it lacks diversity in both species and age. And over time, the age will fix itself because these 100-year-old plus trees are starting to die and they need to be removed. And so we can start replacing those. And plus, I'm sure there's planting sites on people's properties where they can just plant a new tree and help build the canopy. And so we could present maybe some goals like for tree planting. There's ways that we can get inexpensive trees if we choose to. We have to figure out how to finance those trees.
We're in the budget.
Yeah, that's more beyond one of the programs I've looked at and I have participated when I was in Broomfield was Trees Across Colorado. They provide inexpensive trees, but we have to purchase them and then you sell them back to the citizens. And so we have to figure out a way on the budget end to purchase these trees, and then because that's what we did is they set up a special line item in Broomfield where you purchased the trees out, you got it budgeted, you purchased it, and then as you sold them, that went back into that same account or another, the debit credit thing. I'm not good on accounting, but to make that work. And so we have to figure out how those sorts of mechanisms to help that, and then I think we continue to offer, obviously, we need to do our outreach and education for the whole program, for everyone. And so, in doing this presentation is pretty much just to kind of get things kickstarted, things a little bit, the importance of the urban forest to the forefront.
Great. So to summarize, it sounds like updating the trustees on what we've done as a tree board beyond Tree City USA. Have a conversation or a presentation around the urban forest, like the current state of the Paonia situation. And then discussing ideas for adding some diversity and succession planting. And then maybe collaborating with homeowners, creating a program, more outreach education. Yeah, I think so. Great. So I want to add what Mark had emailed me separately about this. He's not able to be here tonight. He did reference 3 quotes out of the comprehensive plan. I just want to read those, just knowing that this is the master plan. One is the plan says to ensure the continuation of the wonderful quality of life, ecosystem health, and increased walkability and real estate values that our town forest provides. So that certainly makes me think about the pathways around the pruning and thinking about the right-of-way trees and looking at opportunities to plant. And so that certainly is represented in the plan. The second quote is our urban forest is valued as an essential element of our infrastructure and environment. And then the third quote is all urban trees require management as they mature in the landscape. And so Mark pointed these out, and then he had a question, actually 3 questions that he wants to be represented in this, whether we're calling it a designing of a proposal to the trustees. But this 3 questions he posed are, number 1, to what priority does the town place on its urban forest? So maybe that's a conversation, at least to put on the table. Question 2, what goals and long-range plans does the town have to prioritize the health of its urban forest? And the third one, does the town need a tree board to accomplish these goals and or plans? So I mean, I appreciate these questions because I think that's where we're at, is making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, just making sure that what we've been trying to do is something the town actually wants us to do. And if not, what does the town want from the tree board in addition to the minimum of Tree City USA requirements, which is certainly something I think the town does value. Yeah, just wanting to hear that from the trustees, like what is the thought here? Because as Tom and Mark have pointed out, this beautiful canopy won't just, it's not like a fixed thing. It's they're all maturing, and we're going to see a decrease in canopy. And so wanting to spell that out, I think, just to maybe, like you said, inform trustees to put that on their radar. Like, this is going to require a plan. If we don't have a plan, then we can't expect in 10 years. I mean, the most likely scenarios that we're going to lose a significant portion of the canopy. Is that a concern to the town? There is also failures. You mentioned, right?
Tree health, and
Tree health and big trees and
big trees
and needing to be proactive to We do have Cami Long's inventory that identifies trees that are more at risk. So really being proactive to make sure that we're mitigating those, as you know, certainly the town is mitigating those. So I think it would be a healthy conversation. Doesn't have to be a long presentation. But I do want reciprocity here as far as like, it's a two-way conversation. We've got tons of ideas, right?
Yeah.
But if the town doesn't want it, then, you know, we can only do so much. So what does the town want? Lisa, what are your thoughts?
Well, okay.
Oh, Mike?
Just speaking for the town board, it's never been busier. And the work thing, there's so much overtime on it. Everybody's worked to the help.
Yeah.
I mean, with the sewer, the water, that water project. And then the Fifth Street, and then the Black Swan event with Panama and Stewart Ditch going out. That wasn't on the budget. And
Yeah.
that turned out to be bigger than, it was a black swan. you
Yeah.
know. So there's that, and but there's a certain way of doing it. I think we'd have to do it in baby steps.
No, you know, I agree. I mean, let's just look at our high risk trees. We need to identify them. We don't have to remove them all today. But we have to realize that they do need to remove. And maybe it's safer and better to remove a tree on your time than on its time. So you avoid the black swan, as you call it, that big event.
Sure.
And if you plan it out and get them done in a systematic way, it's cheaper. You can hire contractors in. When you have an emergency, your price goes up because you call them up and say, I need you today.
Yes.
Instead of, let's schedule this out and have, for instance, trees removed. So this is how we do it. And pruning, we need to schedule regular pruning activities, which I realize it's very hard to do. I've been down that road.
I know.
And it's hard to set up a rotation and then to maintain it. You're always being very familiar with municipal government. I worked in it for 20 years, 30 years. And there's a lot of times where you're just out putting out fires, but we need to get above putting out fires and have a planned maintenance plan.
And, one of the things why I was pushing those cheap trees from, Colorado State, assuming we could, they're quite reasonable. And you said, and I would agree with the argument, half of them are gonna die. That we planted them. But that's like a glass half full. Yeah, half of them are gonna live.
I mean, that's a debate to have. I don't like the idea, but that's me personally.
I'm not comfortable with it either, but it starts the
Okay.
education, education process.
Yeah.
If you get one person to grow one tree, they're gonna grow more than one.
Yeah.
There's that. And there's an educational part to it. I mean, I did this when I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the Cooks, I planted 22,000 fruit trees on a 4,000 acre island. And half of them didn't make it.
Yeah. Sure. Well, they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, right? And then the second best time is today. So if that it does, I mean, for me, I think the high risk trees, and we had that in our notes, I think in January of this year. That was something, it seems like the most responsible thing to do is look at those trees that already have been targeted and let's make a plan, right?
Mhm.
That seems like the town would want that. I mean, I think we've tried to, dabble in a lot of different areas. But I think in my mind, if we could target high risk trees and then have some plan for planting, but the planting is all of those trees die if there's no water plan in this town.
Yeah,
Right.
may I speak? I think that for me and board member Heck, I know that you guys put in a lot of work as trustees, right? We're here on volunteer basis. You guys are busting your butts getting it done. And everybody knows budgets are tight, right? Famously, it's not like we've won the lottery and we just get to spend all this money and there's money just hiding in holes. But I think from Mark's notes, right, it's indicated in the town plan that the canopy and the trees are very important to this town.
It is.
You know, I have half a mind as a citizen to put out a little poll on Facebook and maybe walk down the street and go ask some people how invested they are in the trees here. And see what the citizens think the priority for the trees are, right? Because it's not just the Board of Trustees that we need to be worried about, it's the people who actually live here.
And the tree board.
And the tree board. And so I think right now, and you know, we all saw that our member's resignation was obviously, we read that post, and I mean, I sort of agree with her to a certain extent. Like, you know, we come here, we volunteer. I mean, the conversation, I've been a member of this board for 5 months. And it's been the same conversation for 5 months, which is we need water. We can't plant trees until we have water. The town will give us water. And that's the like, right? Snake eating its tail. Like we're just going around in circles. And at some point, if the town isn't going to make moves to help us provide that water and come up with a plan, then to be honest with you, I don't see the point of the tree board. Like, I don't want to sit here every third Tuesday so that you guys can identify some sick trees. Like, I don't offer any like that. I don't bring any expertise to that. I don't offer anything in terms of like value. And I don't think it's fair. You know, you have a board in place right now and a lot of expertise and people who are willing to put the time in to plan, come up with a plan for this camp, right? Like these two guys especially are here like, yes, I will spend my time coming up with a plan for you. We just need you guys to say yes and find a little bit of a budget for us and help us make those moves.
And in the budget.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like in the town meeting, I think it was last month, where maybe there were some less than positive things said by the trustees about the tree board. I think that the problem is that we don't feel like any action like is being reciprocated. Like, and that's frustrating because we would like to do things, and I think it is important to everybody, and like at some point, what is the point, right? And so I'm happy, Mark and I haven't been able to connect. I'm just gonna throw together a little presentation that I will only communicate with Mark about. And maybe him and I can come up with something that we can present at next month's meeting for all of us to take a look at and discuss what that looks like to bring to the Board of Trustees. Because without any actionable items and without anybody, like, it's just us meeting here the third Tuesday saying we need water, and then you guys meeting every other Tuesday or whenever you meet and not addressing that issue. And then us meeting every third Tuesday talking about how we need water. And it just like,
It's the same conversation.
we're gonna go crazy.
And I think it's worth saying, you know, Tom has said the same, like, we understand like the town is putting out fires, understaffed, you could say.
Yeah.
But I've been on part of this board for over 5 years in some capacity, and that's been the same for 5 years, right? So in that 5 years, we haven't created a succession plan. And I think to Lisa's point, it would be the town saying, oh, you guys said you could maybe get volunteers to create a little watering crew. We want to support that. We want to support you to do that if you're going to be successful in planting trees. So we haven't gotten that. We haven't gotten zero, like, hey, you guys are volunteers. You have a lot of knowledge. You have volunteers.
Energy.
You're willing to do something. How can we support you in actually doing it? That has not happened for us, at least my experience, okay? So I think, you know, to Lisa's point, we've got other things to do. We clearly care. We want to make a difference. But, you know, it doesn't feel like, I don't think it's going to change that the town is having to put out fires constantly. I think that's the normal way, and I think I understand that. In the midst of that, can we make any progress with this town's canopy or creating a planting plan or address anything else that's going to actually make a difference?
if we want to feel forward movement, and I think the problem is there's a lot of stagnation right now with like, we have these ideas, we want this, and there's no moving forward. And sorry to dump on you, because you are the representative for the Board of Trustees. So sorry to aim that all at you, but it is a little bit frustrating, and I can see why the members who have been here for a lot longer than I have are frustrated. Maybe it's easier for me to see because I just came in.
Well, maybe on, fixing trees on a block, just do one block at a time and just do it as you get it done,
Sure, somebody give us the thumbs up to do that.
We need the Board of Trustees to give us guidance.
And it has to,
Do you want to come up with a report? Or do you want us to come up with a comprehend or a maintenance plan to address pruning, for instance, to trash removal? Do you want to have a tree planting program or something like that? The trustees needs to give us direction and tell us that, yeah, we like these ideas. Why don't we pick these two programs and you build them?
well, maybe.
And then we move forward.
Well, just write down all the things that need to be addressed. And go through the proper channels, talk to Nikki. I think it's pretty clear, I think. Go through Public Works. And then that goes to Stefan, and then it goes to the board, and they kind of sort things through. And that's the way it's done. There wasn't any issue I'd given you the money.
No,
As far as the board is concerned.
but we don't want to be, some of my frustration is I'm more than happy to put together a tree removal, to identify the trees that need to be removed, the high priority trees that need to be removed. I'm more than happy to try to figure out a pruning rotation or identify the areas if we need to start pruning it. As I said before, there's several opportunities that we can purchase trees and sell them to the residents. But this all requires work on somebody's behalf. Somebody needs to go pick up the trees or hire an arborist or do this or whatever we decide, but we need the town to tell us what they want us to do.
Well, the way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to tell us what you want.
No, we try to, and this town is not listening to us.
Who did you talk to?
We've in general talked to Stefan at times, we've talked to Nikki at times, and it seems like it just is falling on deaf ears. That's my opinion.
So my suggestion is, and I think the idea that we had, I guess it was 2 meetings ago, so a couple months ago, about the presentation. Like I said, I think what I'm gonna do is just
do it.
I don't have all the knowledge, so I may just come up with an outline and then Mark can help me fine tune, or Tom, I'm not sure. Okay.
We can send it to all the.
Just want to, and maybe I'll talk to Ruben or Sam about what the proper way for me to get the input on that is. But, I'd like to, I think the goal should be by next meeting, have a rough draft of a presentation that we can have a discussion about. And that will be something we can submit to present at a meeting.
Well, you have to get on board,
Yeah, we understand.
That's what I mean, it's like, but we're
Ruben on
not
how to
gonna
do
do
that.
that until we have a presentation, right? Until we have what we want to talk about. And so I think the plan should be rough draft of the presentation for our meeting, to have that discussion, to get something finalized so we can submit to attend and present at a trustees meeting. And talk about actionable items, because that's what it is, right? It's like, I feel like we're having conversation in here, and then on a different day, you guys have to, like, there's just not enough correct communication, and I'm not blaming any side for that. I'm just saying there's not the appropriate communication to actually take these forward steps. And without that, I think there will continue to be frustration from the tree board members. And then eventually there will be frustration from the town because the trees are disappearing and there are no new trees and there's no plan forward. So, all of those things, I've got some ideas percolating in my head. I'll get something down. The guys with the experience and the knowledge, and ladies, Christina, sorry you're not here. We'll come up, you guys can fill in the details. Like I said, I'm new here, so I might not get it all right, but then we'll have something we can actually move forward with. Cause I think that's the plan, is we just keep talking about it. Everybody's frustrated, I get it. So
do a bullet presentation. I wouldn't leave anything out.
that's what I mean.
And just let the town board.
Yes, exactly. And then it's something that they can actually hear from our lips to their ears. what we're looking for, you know, what we need to move forward from them, and then asking them to think about what you guys need from us to move forward, right? Because the energy's here, the knowledge is here, we want to make this happen. Clearly, we're passionate about the town and trees, and something needs to be done.
My issue with the tree board, and it's more me, just me, is the fire mitigation part. I mean,
That's not our job. To me, fire, no, that's the county. It's not our job. It's the county to do fire mitigation.
but it would require removing, no,
I-
not touching that one.
I think fire mitigation is a whole different animal beyond managing the urban forest.
Okay. All right,
That's
I
my opinion.
understand the words fire mitigation, but for the purposes of the tape, can somebody explain to me what?
Fire mitigation, I mean, from my basic knowledge, looked at it and followed it for a while. Is when you go in, it's more even for us, but you look at your community, you look at where the fires can start, where they can spread. And then you look at how can you mitigate your properties, or the town can mitigate their properties to slow the spread of a fire. Once it comes, the ideal in a fire that you have in a wildwood range land fire is you want to keep the fire on the ground.
correct.
Once it gets into the tree canopy,
It
it
goes.
goes. And so there's communities out there and different programs, but basically you want to, when you look at your property, for instance, if you have a property that has lots of vegetation and trees, you want to keep trees X amount, I forget the amount, but it's 50, 60 feet from your home. You want to have them limbed up high enough so a fire can't jump up and grab the canopy, that the fire burns, because so many of our trees are resilient enough that they, like ponderosas, they won't burn. I mean, the bark will burn, but you won't kill the tree.
Mhm.
And so they can handle a low level fire, but when you get a wildfire going through, you can't do anything. But to control a wildfire and do mitigation, we need cooperation with the county and probably the state and feds to help put together a truly
That's not our job.
fire
We could
mitigation
recommend it. We could put a recommendation down. I mean, that's.
I just wrote a note, I wrote a note about it so it can be addressed as well. Like you said, I think just coming up with, like I said, if I get together a presentation and then I'll talk to Sam about the appropriate way to distribute that for everybody to take a look, add their notes, come up with, you know, idea, because there's a lot of people that will want to contribute to that, and I'll miss stuff, absolutely. And then we can go from there, and fire mitigation can be on there, because your voice is just as important.
We're advisory. We don't really
Sure.
have to do anything. We just have to.
Sure, but it does sound, Tom, I agree with you, it sounds like that's a different beast
I
entirely.
mean, it
Yeah,
is.
He doesn't have.
but
Yeah.
If the town wants us to address that, we'd be glad to do it. It's just, we need,
Yeah,
give us direction.
yeah,
Tell us what
Yeah.
your priorities are to help to
No, sure.
address that sort of
Well, I
thing.
mean, like I said, it's just my little pet issue.
it's
It's
an
just an
interesting,
easy can.
yeah, it's an interesting thought, for sure, and I mean, so I'm gonna make some notes here about what to do, and then I'll talk to Sam. And then maybe we can get moving on that, because I think,
That shouldn't be the whole thing.
no, certainly
That's
not.
1 or 2 cents.
Sure.
Just
Sure.
recommend that.
Listen, if I have a time limit on this presentation, we're gonna
That's the thing.
get to the point
You have
quickly.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
No, we got more than 3 minutes.
5. We got
Five.
The
5.
presentation finding.
You'd be surprised how quickly I can speak, so give me 5 minutes and I'll get all the information out there for you.
If it's a short, concise
Yes.
PowerPoint bullets,
Yes,
it's boom, 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 we're
Yes.
done. And
I
if
don't
we
think
got
it
5
needs to be
minutes, we get it done in 5
complicated.
minutes.
What I'm hearing from you, Mike, is if we had like if you were looking at a menu, it would be like you have choices. Like we would say, these are areas that we could focus on.
Mhm.
What does the board want us to focus our energy on? Right?
Right.
Like, that's a start. Like we
That's a
said,
start.
this is what we want. These are ideas of what we could do. You tell us, to your point, you tell us what you want. And then what we would need is then we would need some follow-up, like from the town. If we're going to be charged with, let's do this. Then it does need to have some life to it, you know? That makes sense, like that there's, I mean, we've tried to get these weekly plans, these quarterly plans, or these meetings, I'm sorry, in place. And then, you know, again, things get busy, there's projects, there's water pipelines and black swan events and all this. But I think that's the part of the frustration is like, we've got to get some traction. Presuming that the town actually wants us to get some traction. And if that's the case, you know, I mean, it sounds a little sad to even say that, but we're not clear. I've been here this long and I'm not clear what the town actually wants. Now, is that on me? Maybe it is. Maybe it's on our board that we haven't actually said it. You tell us directly,
But
but
we're asking.
yeah, we're gonna move forward with that.
That would probably be the way to do it, and just let the board decide.
Yeah,
They got the last word, well, actually, the state has the last word, yeah.
yeah, okay, well, that's clear.
Then I will work on that this weekend and get information from Sam and then hopefully. Rules allowed, you guys will all see a rough draft of a presentation that you can individually make. Edits and comments to.
If we can get it out there, and I'm sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's okay for us to send a.
I'll talk to Sam. I have to come in and talk to you guys anyway, so I'll come in and talk to Sam.
I think you can do that with words.
Like a shared Google,
Shared document.
shared document.
Check with Sam.
Yeah, I'll talk to,
It could be a little lot more.
yeah, maybe I'll email Sam and see if she has 15 minutes to set us up. Great, all right, cool.
Yeah, so when would we want to do that? Like if we're saying,
I'm gonna say, all goes well and Sam says that I can have that ready and emailed to her to send out or whoever to send out, then I would say by Monday, I'll have something for you guys to look
And
at.
then we'll review it at the next board meeting.
okay,
Correct. And then at some point, and maybe when's the most strategic time? We're coming into the holidays,
Right.
which I'm not real wild about putting out an important program.
maybe January.
Maybe January or early next year, I think would be a better way to do it and then move it into the spring and get our traction that way. But we need to work on it now and then get our dates.
Be ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm, like I said, as long as I think we feel like we're moving forward in a direction where we can have a little definition about our job and feel like the town is, we're having, the communication with the town is good, then I think that will alleviate some frustrations. And then it gives us time to get ready with, plans in place, right? If that's a strategic planting plan, if that's a volunteer watering program, whatever these things are, it gives us time to kind of load up our quiver, so when hopefully the time comes that everybody is living together in unity and saying, yes, go forth and plant trees, we're prepared for that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we do need successes. I think we've been criticized by the community. We haven't done anything, so we're feeling that.
I mean, heard, right? Like, it kind of feels that way, but it does feel like our hands are a little tied.
Yeah, okay, well, it sounds like we have at least a plan. Anything else to add with this?
I think
I think that is.
this is going in the right direction. That'll help us.
Okay, great,
So.
great.
Just get it set in stone and once it's set, it's gotta happen.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think that's fun.
All right, good deal. I think we're about done. Do we, can I move on to item number 2?
Yeah, that's.
Can we-
Take too long?
It shouldn't take too long.
Go back. Go back in time.
It's gonna get darker and we had moved this meeting. Item number 2 is changing the meeting time back to 5:15 instead of 5:30. We had changed it for the arbor, the tree, the little farmer's market. But I think 5:15. Let's make I make a motion to change the meeting time back to 5:15.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
There, we did something.
We got something done.
Yeah,
Knew we could get something done.
thrilling.
Okay, any other,
I will update item E. So the next meeting will be at 5:15.
thank you,
Yes.
thank you, Ruben, appreciate that. 5:15. Woo, okay, anything? Any loose ends before we close the meeting?
No,
We're good,
We're good.
all right, I move to close the meeting,
I second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.